just want to speak on something else pertaining to it. And what I want to speak on pertaining to it is the agreements, the confidential agreements, and everything like that. That's basically set up right there like that, right? So it's like, for example, you know, uh, just from a distance, I was able to see circumstances and situations play out while incarcerated. So, for instance, I was incarcerated in the midst of like a 10-month stint, almost like 11 months or something like that, right? And just from being observer, just being able to be observant, I kind of watched a situation happen where it was like the 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 cooperation plea agreements and the 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 reality of what that turns into. So, for instance, you know, I'm in a position where I'm incarcerated and I'm around many individuals, hundreds of people. It just so happened this one particular guy, he was incarcerated. I'm not gonna get into his charges or his where he was from, the neighborhood, city, all that is kind of irrelevant. I just want to talk about the impact of the cooperation plea agreements, and which is basically falling and rolling over into genocide. So, this one individual, his family, him and his family, right? Him and I guess I don't know if they consider themselves friends or family, homies or whatever, but I guess they had some kind of issue or street beef or something with some other people. I don't know these other guys, but it was just so happened that in the motion of observing the situation from a distance over a course of some months, it was like his family members. He lost a couple family members that got murdered. So I guess it was some kind of responses back and forth on the outside in the city, in the streets that they were from, and he was just you observing it, you're around, you're on the same unit in those prisons, you in some of those county prisons and everything like that, or what you might call county prison or state prison, right? A state-run facility, so to speak. There's not a lot of movement, you know what I mean? As if you're going to a state penitentiary on a compound ground, it might be a little bit more movement for those people that's actually sentenced to be there. On the smaller scale of state-run facilities, which some people might consider county jail, county prison, whatever you want to call it, it's not as much movement, all right, for the people that's actually sentenced there or the people that's actually been housed there. So, for instance, in a state penitentiary, you might be off your unit or out of your cell 20 hours out of the day, right? In a state-run facility or a county prison or a county jail, whatever you might consider it, you might be in your unit, on your unit, or in your cell around about 15 to 20 hours a day, right? So you see the big difference in the contrast of the movement from this kind of state penitentiary compound where people doing 10 years, 20, 30, 40 years life sentences. It's like you out of the unit or the cell if you want to be for 20 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? You have that much freedom versus a state-run facility or a county jail or county prison where you don't have that freedom to be off your unit or out of your cell for 20 hours or more a day. So, when you're in one of those situations where this is where you're at, 20 hours or more, maybe a day, you are able to observe things whether you want to or not, right? So, just in that position where that was the reality. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like whether or not you want to, you're here for 15 hours no matter what, half the time. So, you just observe, you see things, you hear things, whether you want to or not. And in that reality, this is where I'm getting to. I observed this guy. Like I said, I guess they were going through something in his reality of where he's from, and things like that. And I guess it was like shots fired, man down, shots fired, man down, shots fired, man down. He was going through something like that. And on both sides of that conversation, they was having that they was having a tough time with that. The whole thing though is kind of like in the midst of observing that, he's screaming across the phone. He's screaming across the phone to his family, to his friends. They arguing through the phone with the other people, the group of people that they're going back and forth with this street war, the street beef, and everything like that. But this guy particularly, he was saying through the phone, screaming to his family, to his friends, to his homies, and they like gang war, and it's like they pointing him and his friends, they pointing the finger at the other opposing group, like y'all cooperating. You know what I'm saying? X, Y, and Z got arrested with a gun and some drugs. He's supposed to be going upstate. He getting released. This guy, he get arrested for a shooting. He get arrested for a gun after the shooting. He go upstate for 2 years instead of 10 years. He come right home. And this is all and why he was where he was saying all of that stuff in the conversations that, I was able to observe in the course of those months. It was just like he was saying all of that to say in the actuality of it, based on those plea agreements, cooperation plea agreements, these individuals were able to escape going to prison, escape going to a state penitentiary or a federal penitentiary, where his friends or whoever would have never even been in a position to be murdered in the streets if these cooperators, weren't cooperating, escaping years in prison. So, I guess in that aspect, where you see something like that, it's like based on the cooperation plea agreement, they escape prison years, but they still have the freedom to basically be outside of a prison, and then these people or this person is murdered and killed in the street, by somebody that's literally supposed to be in a state prison or a federal prison doing years in jail. But based on his cooperation plea agreement, these type of people are still able to access firearms and sell drugs and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And, look what happens. Look what can happen. So I just wanted to speak on that, man, because, that's just another aspect of the legal game, the legal system that's, really been contributing to the genocide, really been contributing to why you see the conviction rate in these states, these conviction rate in the federal system, in the state system is as high as it could be, as high as it might be, and stuff like that. Why you see a lot of guys arrested and they don't, and if they have a public defender or paid attorney, they don't have a fight. They can't even. The attorney can't fight the case even if they wanted to. But that's a part of why. You know what I'm saying? If these guys are already cooperating, if this guy already cooperated before, it's just a conflict of interest. So it's just like all of those things contribute to why the legal system is having a lot of turmoil. So just from the ZBM perspective, I want to share, I want to enlighten, and as well continue to build profession and be professional. So Yeah, Young, indeed, Esquire up, man.